What the heck is this thing we call title and escrow? Hello everyone, this is Marv Nicholson, and we're here today with Christine Jones Noel of Rainier Title. I've known Christine for years, friend of mine, and she's always a big help to my clients, myself, and with the process of escrow and title. And she's known for making life fun. No pressure to you, Christine.
I try.
You try. I have a couple questions for
Yes.
you. Oh, good.
I'm excited.
Oh, I've really, let's start with this. Can you tell us a little bit about how you got involved with title?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, I started in commercial real estate. When I first graduated from high school, I went to BCC and I was taking the real estate program, and I was actually going to get licensed and become a realtor myself. And then I started taking a bunch of classes, and I went to work for the Bellevue Square manager's office. And then I ended up being the assistant to the director of operations and helping with leasing, and it turned into being involved with the tenant improvements and the different tenants moving in and out and leasing. So I did that for years. And then I went to work for a company, Caroline Point, when they were building that, and I was an assistant to the construction and property manager for there, which kind of led me into, I ended up getting hired at a .com company, Photodisc, which got bought by Getty Images. It was a really big company, and so we hired about 750 employees and bought like 6 or 7 different businesses in the time I worked there. And so I ended up going back to University of Washington and getting a degree in facilities and construction management. And so when we moved that company into a big build-to-suit and got them all situated, my job was kind of changing, and I had 2 little babies, so I decided to stay home for a year. I was building a house, and then all the .coms started going out of business, and the vacancy rate in downtown Seattle was about 25%. And I got divorced.
Oh.
And so I was like, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
I'm like, I've always been in construction management and property management, and now there's, nobody's expanding in this type of a market. Was almost 30% vacancy rate in downtown Seattle at that time. It was pretty crazy.
That's amazing.
And so I had a friend that was a title rep, and she's like, you should be a title rep. And I'm like, I don't even know what that is. What is a title rep? Nobody really knows unless they're in the business.
Right.
And so I went to a class that her boss was teaching on building your business and how you can use title data and information and all these different things to build your lender or your real estate business. I thought it was really fascinating, and I thought, this is really super awesome. So they hired me, and I had no experience, but I just jumped right in and did everything I could to learn as fast as I could, and it was just, I've loved it ever since then.
That's kind of funny you said that, because now knowing that you studied for real estate, I wonder if you didn't miss your calling.
I know.
I always think about that about you.
People always ask me that and about being a realtor, and I don't know. I really like working with a lot of different people, not just necessarily in the transaction, but I like the variety of doing the marketing and problem solving the transactions and being on the go and always being out there. I don't know. I think about it sometimes, but then I have just so many different relationships, and I like being on the lending side, and the market's always changing.
Yeah.
I like that too.
Yeah.
And so I think sometimes it's a purchase market, and sometimes it's a refi market, and sometimes it's a buyer's market, and so I don't know. Yeah.
Don't I know?
So I really like being, kind of a support person. I played sports growing up my whole life, and I was always kind of the midfielder or the defender, and so I always feel like I just really like supporting other people's businesses and the creativity of getting to know them and how they work and what kind of different resources that I can help provide. And I feel like I'm a good connector, and
you're a great connector.
I like connecting people to the right people and the right solutions, because sometimes it's just not what you know, it's who you know, and
that's true,
and that can solve a lot of issues and help people be a lot more successful, just having the right people on your team.
Sports. I was thinking, when you said that, I was thinking, we haven't golfed together, but I hear you're a fabulous golfer.
I know. I love to golf.
Yeah,
I love to golf. My dad was missed the cut to the 1965 British Open by 2 strokes.
That's amazing.
He's like a super amazing golfer, and I used to hate it when I was little. I only went so I could drive the cart and eat a Snickers. And he was like, when you learn how to hit a 5-iron, you can have another club. I don't even have a 5-iron anymore. I threw it out of the bag. I still can't hit a 5-iron. I think my pitching went farther than a 5-iron. But I was blessed with his golf swing, so I don't play that often, but everyone says if I did, I'd be, probably a single digit handicap. But I can I can sure hit
So
that
what have you done
golf
with
ball.
the 3 and 4 iron?
I don't even touch
How
those.
about the 2?
I don't even go that. I have 7, 8. I actually like my 6 iron.
I do too.
I go
like
at
mine.
6 iron. I like great off 150 yards,
Yeah.
like off
Yeah.
But a 6 iron to the pitching wedge, and then I just use my driver
Yeah.
and a little rescue club for
Yeah.
or 7
I
wood.
love the rescue.
Uh-huh.
We need to golf
I
together.
know it's this year, and that's another thing. I missed all the golf tournaments in real estate.
Yeah, that's right. There's lots of those.
I had to get back into the business.
That's
I
right.
Playing all my golf tournaments.
Yeah. So a client who's either buying or selling, or
Yeah.
buying, selling, or maybe refinancing,
Yeah.
will see title and escrow costs come up. What can you tell us about what those costs are getting them?
Yeah, well, we'll try to explain that. So we have a property information department where we have about 4 or 5 people on staff that just specialize in property information, pulling everything from easements to maps to who's the current owner, what any liens we can see. Once we get ready to have a transaction where it's really going to go and we need to open title, we do a full report on every single thing on that property with the chain of title, and we want to make sure that when someone's buying a property, they're not going to inherit anybody else's liens, debts, or encumbrances to that property, and that they're actually buying what they think they're buying.
Right.
You know, you could buy a property and think, oh, this is 10 acres over here, and next thing you know, in your title report, it's 1 acre, and somebody else has interest in that other land and all that kind of stuff. So you're buying protection, you're buying peace of mind, and you're, buying data so that you know exactly what you're getting, and then you're buying insurance. So if anything does happen, that you could come back, and any other industry, you would have to hire an attorney and go do all these data. Like, we're kind of a built-in, I always think that title insurance is kind of having a built-in attorney on staff. So if something ever were to happen with your transaction, you would just go straight back to the title and escrow company you work with, and we would figure out what was missed that caused the problem that you're having, and we would remedy at that.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of peace of mind. You're spending your life savings and putting all your money into a property, and you just want to be able to sleep at night and know that this is yours, and you don't have any things that are going to come back and cause you trouble.
That's good. People just don't know what that is,
Yeah.
what it means to pay for that title, and we get a lot of complaints about it because they don't understand it. But that's a better understanding.
Yeah, and
It's insurance.
Yeah. And insurance and title insurance is heavily regulated with the insurance commissioner. They have the consumer's best interest at heart. So most companies, we all charge basically the same thing. We're all within 5 or 10% of each other. It just depends on the policy and the fees that are, people have more mobile notaries or have other fees that are added to it. But we're all pretty close in our fees, and those are regulated. And it's more about just having someone that is easy to work with, that communicates well, that can get you the information that you need when you need it, so that your transactions can close on time, and people have time to review all the information and make sure, this is what we want to do.
Speaking of which, how often do you see something come up that totally stalls a transaction? Something that might get somebody in trouble, and you guys are sort of the overseer of that.
Yeah, every once in a while there's different things that can come up on title, not too much. I mean, sometimes we see things, just right before this meeting today, I just got a phone call with 2 people. One guy owned 2 properties and owned them both, 2 parcels for 35 years, and then they built a garage, and now the garage is halfway on the other property, and they're trying to sell it, and so they're trying to figure it out. So I think the biggest thing with the title insurance is at Rainier, one of the things I really like about what we do is we review the title for you. We're not expecting the consumer or even the realtor to have to read the entire title report and figure every single thing out, but it is advised, and people should know, look on there and make sure that everything's going on. But not that often. I would say maybe 5-10% of the time there's something that comes up that might delay the transaction, but we're able to usually remedy it pretty quick. There's not too much that we haven't seen. The biggest questions I think kind of come in with stalling transactions when you have people trying to buy property that are maybe getting divorced, but they're not divorced yet.
Right.
And so one person has this, idea of what they think they can do,
Sure.
and they can't really do that, and then it requires the other person's cooperation, and if they had good cooperation, they probably wouldn't be getting divorced in the first place. So those are kind of some more things that kind of come up a little bit on title, or if there's a mobile home that needs to be eliminated.
Sure.
And maybe that could take a little bit longer because we have to get an outside person in there to handle the elimination. So that those kind of things could take a little bit longer. So if you're trying to have a quick close on those, probably.
So when you mean elimination, you're speaking of the title to the vehicle
Yes.
called a mobile.
Yeah.
It's not title.
Yeah, and a
it's
lot of
title
times people don't understand that too. So a mobile home elimination is basically if you do have a mobile home, it's considered a vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
But when it's been eliminated, it's now become attached to the property.
Right.
So those are, but that can take, maybe 15 to 45 days,
Right.
depending on who's handling that. And
So I think the elimination takes it from private property to
to
real
real property.
property.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
because we can't really get a mortgage on private property.
On something that you're gonna get in the car
Yeah.
and drive it off. Wait, where'd that go?
Exactly.
So
So tell us a little bit about escrow.
So yeah, and escrow is the same thing. So when we get a new transaction with escrow, the first thing we do is we get the title. Maybe our company's doing it, maybe it's not. So we have to get that title report. We review all of that, and then what we start doing is collecting all the information. So we want to get the payoffs. We want to find out anything that needs to be cleared from title from one owner to the next. So we get the payoffs, we get the title, we get all of the documents necessary. We get the then the loan documents are sent to us, and then we work up the loan documents, prepare those and the seller documents, and then we deal with all of the taxes, the excise tax, any liens, utilities, any and all interests in the property, so that when that closes, everybody gets their money, everybody's paid off, the new deeds are prepared, new ownership is taken over, and it's just recorded, and you start fresh with a new buyer.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And so somewhere in there you usually get docs from the mortgage
Yeah.
company. And so you're going to transfer those docs into real paper.
Yeah.
And everybody's going to sign when we move forward.
Yep.
Right? So cool. So is there anything else you want to tell us about either?
One of the things I would say in escrow right now, which would be a really good thing for everyone to be thinking about and talking about with their borrowers, and we definitely do this as a company and trying to educate people, especially as we're getting to that point, is I don't want anyone to ever just transfer money. Wire fraud is really big right now, and it's gotten really crazy with all of the high-tech ways that they can do stuff. I mean, people literally think they're talking to their escrow person, and now the money's gone.
Money's gone.
It's gone.
Thousands
and thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
So before anyone ever does a wire transfer, I literally would suggest that they just get on the phone with their actual escrow officer and just make sure, okay, this is the forms and this is what we're going to do. So most people are not having to bring in, some people are bringing a cashier's check at closing and those types of things. But if you're buying a property cash or any of the other things, I just would just